Hello, this is Charlie on KY5U. And what's a ham radio site without a blog or commentary? I guess every ham has an opinion about one thing or another. So anyway, I'm going to share some of my opinions with you. And feel free to shut the video off if you don't agree. One of the interesting things that happened in ham radio not too long ago was the fact that they removed the requirement for Morse code for getting a ham license. And that's really not a bad thing. That was the opportunity for people to get interested in ham radio who might not otherwise be interested. However, the people who were behind this move guaranteed pretty much that there'd be, tons and tons of amateurs coming into amateur radio, and it just never happened. Amateur radio is a kind of a nostalgic type of hobby. It has some great things and a lot of fun. Just so many different things you can do in amateur radio that I would recommend it as a hobby to anyone, young or old. But the removing of the code requirement did not do what they said it was going to do. That's okay. The big problem was that since the code requirement's been removed, and I'm not saying that ham radio doesn't have its own share of bad boys to begin with, but we have an influx of, I guess the best thing to call them are CBers, who have upgraded and become ham radio operators. And they are bringing with them from the CB band, the 10-4 Good Buddy, A Roger That, and all of that other stuff that you used to hear in the 70s CB movies. Let me tell you, I was on CB in the late 60s, and people didn't talk that way. They just talked in a normal tone of voice and talked to each other. Everybody had call letters, and that was allowed. You could talk to somebody else, another station to station call it was called. But when the CB movies came out, that released every goober and nutcase apparently within 5,000 miles. And CB in the United States turned into pretty much a wasteland. I sold all my equipment in about 72 and never looked back. The problem here is that there are a lot of folks who believe that that's the correct way to talk, and they're on CB, and then they upgrade and become hams, and they bring it with them. So rather than being negative, let me be positive about this. If you're a CBer and you'd like to become a ham radio operator or whatever, even if you're a regular citizen and you want to become a ham radio operator, let me suggest that after you pass the test and get on the air, that you leave all the good buddies and 10-4s and all the other stuff behind. Just remember that on ham radio we use plain language. We talk to each other just like we would in conversation. There's some codes in ham called Q codes, and they were mainly intended to be used for CW, which is Morse code. Same for the laugh on Morse code. In Morse code you send HI, which if you listen to it sent, it sounds like a laugh, a little giggle. And you'll hear even hams these days talking on the radio, and when they're finished saying something, they go HI. But regardless, being positive about it, if that's possible, let me just suggest that you talk plain English when you're on the air. And the knowledge that you got on the CB bands is not going to do you a lot of good on ham radio, because a lot of the stuff you heard was from bootleggers and guys that really don't know what they're doing. You may disagree with me, and I defend your right to do that. But I've been in electronics, and I've been a technician for over 40 years, and I've seen butchered radios that come in from CB shops. Let me just say that you'll do just great in ham radio if you'll come in and be quiet and listen and learn and be nice. That's all it takes. Anyway, thanks for listening to my rant, and thanks for visiting the website. Come back soon.